What's going on, YouTube? It's been a while, but there's plenty of reasons for that. Just, life, work, kids, family, broken car stuff, never ending. But just wanted to make a little video talking about my EVO X MR. So about roughly 2 years ago now, I had some transmissions issues with my EVO X MR, which has the dual clutch SST DCT 470 transmission in it. Super fun car to drive, love it. It's a great car, shifts super smooth. Long story short, I launched the car a few too many times and it did some weird stuff. I ended up losing reverse gear and was still able to drive the car fine, but didn't have reverse gear. And then I went out and drove it fairly spirited one day, and she ended up overheating, and just, yeah, once it did that, I ended up towing it over to my buddy's house. My buddy came and got me and towed it over to his house, and we ended up pulling the transmission, the motor, and all that fun stuff. So, one thing that I've noticed just trying to do my research on this transmission and stuff like that is I do notice that I don't see very many videos of people talking about them necessarily in the States, in the United States. They're pretty popular, it seems like, in Australia and other countries overseas, but you don't really hear or see too many videos about them in the States. Or, I'm sure plenty of people have them, they're just not talking about them potentially. And so I kind of want to tell you guys what I've been going through with this transmission and where we are at right now. So I did end up getting the transmission rebuilt by Jack's Transmissions out of Colorado. I am located in Washington State, so I shipped it out to them at my work. My work was awesome and let me do that, get it shipped out there and shipped back, because they charge you almost double the price for liftgate service to pick it up and deliver it residentially. So I had to save every single penny that I could on this, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it is not cheap to get these SSTs rebuilt. I could have gone cheaper on it, but we'll kind of talk about what I got done to it. So without further ado, here she is. So this is the rebuilt dual clutch SST DCT 470 transmission. This was my original transmission that was in the car, and put it on a pallet, shipped it out to Jack's. And as you can see right there, it's got the Jack's sticker on it. And just last night, I was able to, after 2 years of that motor being on this stand, I was finally able to get the motor off the stand. And I got the transmission all mounted and made it up to the motor. I still got to torque some bolts down on that, and then I still need to clean up the T-case over here and get the T-case on and torqued down. And once that's on, it is ready to go over to my buddy's shop and slap the intake manifold on that's sitting over there right before we roll her under the car, and she's ready to go back in finally. And I am ecstatic about it. I am so excited. The reason why the motor itself was on the stand was because, well, I had the time, so I cleaned it up as best as I could. Is it perfect? By no means is it perfect. Is it the most beautiful thing in the world? By no means is it the most beautiful thing in the world. But for a motor with, the car's in kilometers, so bear with me here, over 100,000 miles on it, it doesn't look bad. I didn't take off all the accessories and stuff. I probably should have. I had the time, but I didn't. But I kind of just been sitting and been doing other stuff. But there she is. So what I kind of want to go through, and it's not something that I really like to do, is talk about money. It's not really my thing. But I want to be fully transparent to anybody that is wanting to send their transmission out, their DCT 470, Lancer, EVO X MR, Lancer Rally Art, stuff like that, to Jack's Transmissions or another place to get it rebuilt, so you guys are aware of the costs that could potentially be associated with that. Now, again, with that being said, I did do some upgrades to this transmission since it was there. So could be a little more expensive for you, could be a little less for you. It just all fully depends on what you choose to put into your transmission and maybe where you send it to. So with all the research that I did, the two best places to send it to were Jack's Transmissions in Colorado and Cosmic Racings. So there's also SSP, I believe is what it's called, that's pretty well known for rebuilding them. And then plenty of other places overseas as well, but it was definitely not getting shipped overseas because I'm sure that would have cost me an arm and a leg, even more than it already did. But I have the paperwork, right, my invoice right here, and so I just want to kind of go through this and explain to you briefly what I got done to it. I will say right now, right off the bat, thank you very much Jack's Transmissions. They were awesome. They were very communicative with me, and I really appreciate that. I did ask a lot of questions and, followed up here and there and to see how things were going. Took a little while to get it back, but when they got it, they dug into it pretty quick. There were some reasons why it took a little longer to get back. Not their fault, not my fault, really nobody's fault. Just shit happens. So it is what it is. But without further ado, let's go through this so I can tell you what I did. So, first thing is, well, I guess I should say this. The reason why I chose Jack's Transmissions is because the trans was actually previously built by Jack's Transmissions. And I did confirm that. I have all the receipts from when it was built before, and this was 3-4 years ago. Not the owner that I bought the car from, but the previous owner, I believe, is the one that did it. So it's been a while. The car was probably beat on before I got it. So not a horrible thing to have to do, but definitely not something that I was expecting to have to do. But at the same time, I do also beat on my cars. So I'm not going to lie about that. But anyways, Jack's was awesome. And let's go through this real quick. So first thing was the TC SST repair service. And I opted to do the 600 horsepower HD clutch pack. So standard, these things I believe come with an 8-plate clutch. This is a 10-plate clutch rated up to roughly around 600 horsepower. So, that's what I had in there before, and that's what I was going to do. There's another option to go up a little bit higher, but the price definitely does jump up quite a bit. And maybe down the road with the plans that I do have for this car, we might have to go a little bit higher at some point. But for now, it'll be fine. So TC SST repair service includes upgraded 600 horsepower HD clutch pack. That's what I chose. Was $3,000, so $3,000 right there. Now I already did have a previously built trans discount, upgraded to 4-magnet fork upgrade and revised synchros. So I already had that in there, so they gave me a $500 discount, which was cool. SST valve body repair service was $1,375. So basically the mech unit was torn apart and fully rebuilt the way that they rebuilt it. So that had to be done as well. While they were in there, I did opt to upgrade a couple shift forks. Jack's Transmissions in-house makes full one-piece billet shift forks. So I did a 2-4 full billet shift fork, and that one fork was $650. I also did billet 3-5 shift fork, and that was also $650. So Jack's does have a video on YouTube in regards to that and to those forks. Obviously I haven't tested it yet, so I don't know the difference or how it's gonna feel, but they're in there and it made sense for me to just go ahead and get it done. Next was DCT trans fluid. So with the transmission back, they did send me these 2 jugs of trans fluid and that filter and housing there. So that's their fluid that they recommend. That's what's going in the car. Mitsubishi Diaqueen is what is recommended to run in these transmissions. And you're looking at roughly about $500 for, 2 jugs of fluid for this trans if you go with Mitsubishi Diaqueen. I do know that Cosmic also has their own branded fluid, Diaqueen, same stuff, and it's like half that price. It's like $250. So if you're looking to do your SST trans, maybe check out them or Jack's. But the fluid itself was $176. So shipping, again, this is no liftgate service because I had access to a forklift, was $385 each way. So little spendy, but it would have been about double that if I would have gotten it shipped to my house and picked up from my house. So that's what I had done with this transmission. With all that being said, the total damage of this was $6,121. So definitely was not a cheap fix by any means, but it needed to be done, and it's now done. And I am stoked to finally get this car back on the road and running. Like, super ecstatic. So anyways, that's kind of the overview of the trans, just so people are aware of, the costs associated with getting them rebuilt, getting them built a little stronger. My goal with this car right now is I would like to see 500 to the wheels on ethanol. That is my goal. I don't know if that's going to happen with my current turbo setup. So at the moment, I am running just a stock OEM Mitsubishi exhaust manifold, and we are running the FP MHI 18K turbo. So stock frame, but a little more flow. So it says online that it's rated for 500, but I personally feel like that might be pushing it a little bit with this turbo, and I'm not ready to build this motor quite yet. I'm hoping by the end of this year, it might be time to go ahead and pull the motor and do a little build on that. But right now, I just really need to get the car back up and running. The weather is getting a lot nicer out here in Washington towards the end of March, and I just want to drive it. I'm super excited to be able to finally drive it and for my family to enjoy it, my 2 young boys to enjoy it. So we're getting there. But yeah, other than that, built trans, got a few more things to wrap up on this motor. Gonna get the T-case on tonight, and hopefully here soon, we'll be installing this bad boy back into the EVO. So also got front lip over here, good old eBay special. They definitely sent me a different lip than the one I ordered, but it was cheap, so I was like, whatever. Not the one I want, but I'm just gonna use it to practice with because I really wanna learn how to paint. So that's just primed right now, 1 coat of primer, but we'll get it there. It does not look good, so I'm not going any closer than that. So I will have to do, once I get the car back up and running, it is tuned on cob. That's one thing on top of my list is to get it off of cob and just go straight open source, Tephra V3, I believe is what it is. And, but that'll come in time. I do want to add a new intake manifold, exhaust manifold, and then potentially go to an AGT 57mm turbo. So that's the turbo that I would like to go to. So not sure when that's going to happen. Might not be till later this year, but that's the plan. And with the dual clutch transmission, the SST trans, it does rob a little bit of power versus a GSR manual transmission car. So you're going to lose a little bit of power there because of the transmission. And I also don't want to stress the turbo or stress the motor. So potentially might go to a little bit bigger of a turbo. I like to stay with the stock location for now at least, so I don't have to do too much, but we'll see what happens. So besides that, I guess the other mods that we're going to add to it, it's going to be flex fuel. Might have to up the injectors, but I think the injectors will be fine. Probably will have to do a fuel pump and then just a flex fuel gauge and get her off a cob and get her tuned and see what she runs. So anyways, I'm gonna try my best to start making more videos here and there on this car and just kind of what I'm dealing with and going through, and we'll see what happens when we get it back up and running. But I've been wanting to just kind of make this raw, unedited video just talking about the transmission, because I'm sure there are plenty of other people that are out there researching and doing their due diligence on trying to figure out, you know, all the costs and stuff like that may be associated with getting one of these rebuilt. So now you kind of know, and I hope this is helpful for some people out there. And thank you guys for watching. So shoot me a comment of maybe questions or other videos that you might want to see on this car or anything like that. And we'll keep chucking at it and trying to put out some videos here and there. So anyways, y'all have a good day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.